Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our special show India Fights Back, where the focus is on how India is tackling the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. Now today we're going to talk about a new emerging challenge in India's fight against COVID pandemic, and that is the emergence of new COVID-19 strains, with the virus strains in some states and the spike in the cases as well. We'll try and understand both aspects here, how they're interrelated or how it will have the impact on the overall situation in the country and what more needs to be done. For more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Dr. Pradeep Aute. He is a state surveillance officer in the state of Maharashtra, one of the states which has been reporting spike in cases. Dr. Raman R. Gangakherkar is also joining us. He's Dr. C.G. Pandit, National Chair at ICMR, and Dr. Rakesh Mishra, the Director of Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, that is CCMB, is also joining us. Welcome all of you gentlemen to Rajya Sabha TV. Let me begin with you, Dr. Aute. Let's start by understanding the ground situation there in the state of Maharashtra in both aspects. One, the spike in cases, and two, the new strains, the new mutated strains of COVID virus which are being detected?
In Maharashtra, actually, in last almost 2 weeks, we are observing a surge or rising trend in the state, and especially this trend is more predominantly been observed in the Vidarbha region. In Maharashtra, we have totally 11 districts in Vidarbha, and out of this 11, near about 7 districts are showing predominant rising trend of these COVID-19 cases in last 1 or 2 weeks. Especially Amravati, Nagpur, Wardha, Yavatmal, Akola. These are the districts where this rise is quite at a higher level compared to the other districts. And apart from that, there are certain districts from Western Maharashtra like Pune, Satara. They are showing some pockets of increase in the cases. Then Nandurbar, Nashik, and also from Ratnagiri. So these are some of the districts where we are actually observing the spike. And though we are actually speaking about the mutants and the new variants of COVID-19, I think Dr. Rakesh Mishra sir is here, and he is from the scientific advisory group, and he will be the expert in telling about the details of these mutants and what kind of variants we are finding, and what actually the extra saline features it is actually imparting due to the variations. But as far as we know, basically, we have sent the sample for this kind of genomic sequencing to NIV and National Center for Cell Science, and actually we are waiting for the result from these two laboratories, and National Center for Disease Control, who is the nodal body for that. So actually they will tell the exact information about the variants. But what we actually observe...
Yeah. Yes, please carry on.
Yeah, actually, but what we observe basically, because there are certain reasons that is causing this surge in certain pockets. Because as you know, we are observing the cold wave in the North India, and it has the indirect impact of this cold wave in some of the districts of Maharashtra, especially the Vidarbha and the Western Maharashtra. So there is a drop of almost 5 to 10 degrees Celsius in the minimum temperature in many of the districts. And this conducive environment is also helpful for the COVID-19 transmission. That is one reason. At the same time, we are observing some kind of lethargy in the COVID-appropriate behavior. Especially in last month on the 15th of Jan, we conducted the Gram Panchayat election in Maharashtra. More than 14,000 villages have actually undergone this election. And that also actually helped in a way to more social intermingling and the surge or the spike in the cases. So especially in Marathwada and Vidarbha, we are observing even the family functions like marriage ceremony, which has been attended by more than 500 people and like that, and without observing any COVID appropriate behavior. So these are some of the reasons in my region. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. The fact that some of us have let our guard down as far as COVID appropriate behavior is concerned, that is obviously one of the reasons being pointed out by experts time and again, something which Dr. Aute is also referring to here. But let's talk more about the mutants here, which he was referring to. Let me bring in, Dr. Rakesh Mishra here. Dr. Mishra, CCMB has, compiled a list of 5,000 variants or mutants, we are calling it in terms of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus. What exactly are we looking at when we're talking about the mutants here in these particular states, specifically Maharashtra, in this particular period that is around last 5 to 6 weeks, which has come to light?
Yeah. So you're right that there are a large number of mutations that have been observed and which is natural in fact. So I want to put first in the perspective that the all organisms mutate, and that's why there's variety in life, including humans, and we are different from each other because we are inheriting mutations acquired by our ancestors. So mutation is a part and parcel of the evolutionary process. What happens in case of the virus is that this mutation is very fast, and virus is in billions and billions of numbers, so they can play with the number and try out many experiments. So that's why mutation, particularly in coronaviruses, the rates are very high. So it is only expected that newer and newer mutations will emerge, and that's what exactly you are referring to. We have cataloged all the mutations of the Indian isolates that have been sequenced. Some close to 6,000 isolates have been sequenced, and in there now the current number we have cataloged more than 7,000 mutations which are there. So most of the mutations are of no consequence, and they in fact may be deleterious to the virus, and they will never be able to persist. However, some of them may become more efficient than others and start to propagate more, and they emerge as the new variants. So a variant is, in fact, defined by several mutations. Like, for example, UK variant has some more than 10, 15 mutations, at least 17 mutations that defines that variant. But we call it N501Y, one which is more prominent and defining mutation for that variant.
Okay.
So what we've seen in India, the new variants that have been spreading more, none of them seem to be anything novel variant. They are all known earlier also, like 484, E484K, and sometimes we are seeing E484Q. They are known in all Brazil and South Africa variants. And we are seeing another new variant which is spreading more in southern part of India as N440K. So they are either they have come from by travel history or they have emerged independently in our population. Is difficult to rule out, but when more and more sequencing gets done, we'll be able to figure out. But as Dr. Aute mentioned, because these are looks like these are the cases which are like we call as super spreader events, somewhere people have not followed their proper COVID behavior and taken things lightly and given the virus chance to spread. And then once it is picks up, then it keeps spreading and leads to more like a peak or whatever we can call it.
Okay.
So as far as whatever the data we have seen, more sequencing, as you mentioned correctly, that NCCS and NIB are doing a lot of genome sequencing, and in coming maybe 10 days or 5-6 days, we will know more if there are new variant which is taking hold, or it is a common variant which is already there, and it is just a result of a super spreader event, that is carelessness of some people, like using local trains without thing. You're seen in Bangalore in two apartments, people did party and the whole apartment became a red zone and things like that. So most likely it is that, but so we will figure it out if there is a new variant or existing one that is spreading.
Okay.
Comforting thing is, I can just, if you give me a minute, comforting thing is that since these variants are not anything novel, most likely they will behave the similar way as people have assessed by UK and South Africa, which means they will respect the vaccine, they will not escape the vaccine. So that is a big concern at this moment. But it is our responsibility as the people that we prevent the spread of this virus. As I said, the virus will mutate.
Definitely.
And mutation are giving more and more chance to the virus. And by letting it spread and lakhs of people are infected, so we are giving virus more chance to come up with new variants.
Okay,
So we have
definitely.
to stop that.
Definitely, that's going to be really, really important to understand based on further studies. What's the correlation between these new, variants and the spike in the cases there? But let me bring in Dr. Raman Gangakherkar here as well. Dr. Gangakherkar, from your point of view, these two situations: one, the spike in cases in certain states. Maharashtra is not the only one. Kerala also we are witnessing the increase in numbers. Similarly, in one or two states as well. And the emergence of new mutants.
Yeah, one thing which I would say is there is a clear differentiation between Maharashtra and Kerala. No, one needs to understand that Kerala perhaps appears to be in the first wave itself in terms of a longer plateau that you are currently observing. And I would not expect that those numbers would increase dramatically short future ahead of us. Whereas if you look at Maharashtra, in Maharashtra, the decline was actually observed, but now suddenly you are finding in a region where perhaps population density is not high enough, you are finding that these numbers are increasing. Would I attribute that to variants? Perhaps not. No, one must remember that if people reduce the adherence to COVID appropriate behavior, it is likely to influence far more in terms of risk of acquisition rather than presence of a variant. And people find it very easy. No, it's for everybody. No, it's very easy to blame this is occurring because of variants. One, because it's difficult to sustain COVID appropriate behavior. It is difficult to sustain even public health action to contact trace and test everybody. For last 1 year, the entire system has been exhausted. It is very easy to attribute that to the variant, mainly because it's very difficult to identify truly whether that variant is only responsible. So you tend to have a cushion of safety in making your statements. To me, everybody must understand we should not blame the newer variants that are coming ahead when we know that our COVID appropriate behaviors are dropping down. Super spreading events continue to occur, and in super spreading events, all of us are going there and showing our face just because you feel so far you have been imprisoned, so far your faces have not been seen. I think it is time we need to plead with the people to try and adhere to COVID appropriate behavior alone rather than discussing variants in public space.
Okay, definitely. That is indeed one of the most important aspects there, as I was saying earlier, and Dr. Aute was also pointing out. Dr. Aute, I'd like to bring you in back here. The central government seemingly has told the states where the cases are increasing to be on the lookout, to take all the measures which are possibly including testing, tracing, and enforcing the COVID-appropriate behavior also. So on the ground, Dr. Aute, we would like to know what exactly is being done by the government or the local authorities there to keep the situation in control.
Definitely, as Dr. Gangakherkar sir has said, we are also actually observing the reason is basically social and personal. And that is why actually we have sent our expert teams, the rapid response teams, to all these districts where we are observing the spike. Our aim is to identify the pockets of high positivity and then to identify the reasons, because though the broad reasons I have described about the state, the local reasons are the local situations are also prevailing in different districts, and they are also responsible for such kind of spike. So those local reasons need to be identified, and accordingly the plan of action for each and every district and each and every block and taluk has been designed. So basically enhancing the surveillance of influenza-like illness, severe acute respiratory infections, then enhancing testing, laboratory surveillance. The important thing is to make every effort through IEC and behavior change communication regarding adherence of the public to the COVID appropriate behavior. Even in some of the districts of Vidarbha, we have gone to again for the lockdown for next 8 days, so that this kind of activities can be uh, actually implemented throughout these districts which are showing the surge of cases.
Okay.
And even the marriage halls and all those things, we are now asking them for the SOPs. Like in Pune, we have shut down the colleges and schools for next 8 days to observe what kind of actually difference in cases and all those things can happen. So we are actually monitoring the situation day-to-day basis from every district and looking at the reasons and doing the needful fine-tuning to rectify our modus operandi to bring down this surge of the cases.
Okay, okay. That seemingly looks like, a lot is being done there. Dr. Mishra, your views there on the steps being taken on the ground and what more can be done? Because we have, learned our lessons and we can't let the situation go out of control for the second time.
Right. No, I agree with both the panelists. Virus spreads person to person. It's very simple. It's as simple as that. If two people don't allow to exchange the virus will not be able to dominate us. So that is what is called COVID behavior. That we wear masks, maintain distancing, avoid clustering in group for a few more months, and we'll be the other side of the scene. If we don't do that, then it's not, we are only playing with our luck. If new variant is not already emerging, which most likely is the case, we will know it after the sequences are in. The new variants will come because that's nature of the virus. You already know that 7,000 mutations we have cataloged. More will come, and one may be such that it will start to spread more, like UK variant, or some may become escape the immune system. Those are things that can happen. So it is a war when we are actually right now in a very good position. We are in a winning position when positivity in general is low, only 10-12,000 positive every day, happening so much of good recovery and everything. This is the time we should go for the kill, which means be very strict. Don't let the virus spread from one another. Use the vaccine to the fullest possible level, and then we can get the other side. If we avoid vaccine and if we be more relaxed, then we are letting virus today virus is maybe 1 lakh people active. That means virus is doing 1 lakh experiment to make new avatars of it. And one of that succeeds, then we will be in difficulty. So we should be aware of what risk we are playing with when we are not following the COVID specific behavior. Vaccine is very strong tool, and so far these variants, whatever have been recorded, they are all within the scope of the vaccine. So that's a good thing, but that we should be consider ourselves as lucky. So steps taken by the system are perfect. That's what should be done. We should not panic that new variant has come and disaster and all that. Even if new variant comes, the spread method is the same. No matter how dangerous the new variant is, if we wear the mask, we can defeat it. So we have to focus on what is our strength and what is our knowledge, and not the fear of a variant which will come. But we can handle if we follow this strategy that has been well laid down by for now several months.
Okay, definitely. That seemingly is the gist there. Let's have concluding comments from Dr. Raman Ganga Kherkar as well. From the point of view of what exactly needs to be done on the ground, not only by the authorities, Dr. Ganga Kherkar, but also by general public.
Yeah, what is most important to believe is, see, this is a threat. It's an invisible threat. Mere dropping of numbers of infected individuals doesn't necessarily convey that the organism is not present in somebody who could continue to remain asymptomatic and could be spreading. Now, we need to believe that until you are told that this threat is non-existent now, the disease has been eliminated, please don't take decisions by yourself and show yourself to be more courageous. You are likely to be risking your own life, your own family member's life, somebody who's elder in your family, their lives, and even you will continue to have this new norm that we tend to talk about for a longer period of time by each default of action that we do. Second thing which we have to remember, COVID appropriate behavior has to be rigorously followed by everybody, even if they are vaccinated or not vaccinated. Yeah. Third thing which I would say, that at least in those places wherever you find that there is a suspicion of a surge that is occurring today in Vidarbha, maybe in Pune, maybe in parts of Bombay, it passes two messages. The first message that is most important for people is to the doctors and healthcare workers and frontline workers. If they are to spring back into action, are they protected? Are they protected by vaccine? So please take vaccines. People who are at least staying in that area must make efforts. Those who have not been vaccinated should come forward and take the vaccine earliest, because we do not know, in a month's time the situation could suddenly become worse, and then everybody has to spring back into action. The second issue which they have to understand is, even if you may not take a vaccine, please don't advise others who are older, more than 50 years of age and having chronic morbidity, that you can refrain from taking vaccine, because it is these very patients who are going to get admitted in your hospital. You will be repeatedly exposed to them, and they could become a threat to your own life. Now, why should you do something like that? And the last thing which I would say is, people misinterpret messages the way they find it convenient to. No, the moment you start talking of variants repeatedly in public spaces, you find some of us are likely to hear South African variant, perhaps the vaccine is not going to cover me well. And then it adds to vaccine hesitancy. And every percent increase in vaccine hesitancy is going to ensure that the disease is going to be endemic. The disease is going to last for us for a long period of time. Even if today you don't want to wear mask or follow COVID appropriate behavior, you will have to adjust, and perhaps it will become then the necessity of life if you want to continue to remain healthy and alive.
Okay, definitely. That is, the gist there. Thank you so much, Dr. Raman Gangakherkar, Dr. Rakesh Mishra, and Dr. Aute as well, for sharing these views with us and our viewers to further understand the ground situation there. And as our experts pointed out, yes, the cases are increasing in certain parts of Maharashtra and few other states, and there are mutants, new mutants and new variants which are being discovered. But then the basic thing which all of us need to understand is that we cannot let our guard down in terms of the COVID appropriate behavior. The more we go lax on that, the longer we will have to continue to endure these situations. So the solution is to adhere to the COVID appropriate behavior, which is a simple 3-step process. We will once again remind you. The first is to ensure that you're wearing your mask at all times. Also, wash your hands properly. Hand hygiene is really, really important, and follow physical distancing when you're out there in public places. These 3 simple steps will go a long way in protecting you and your near and dear ones. That's all we have in this edition of India Fights Back. We'll come back again. Till then, you keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.